Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 69-72 Carryover League. It's time to wrap up the results of the postseason, prepare for the playoffs, also do some awards. The postseason is over. It's a 3-round tournament that happens after the All-Star break, and it gets us down to the 12 teams needed for the playoffs. Let me bring up one more sheet here, and that would be the general schedule for the league. And so the Carryover League starts way back in March, right around St. Patrick's Day, by having the entire league, all 32 teams, they play 6 series, 3 divisional series, 2 league series, and 1 interleague series. Best of 7, 5, and 3. And on average, you play 432 games during this period. That's the average of the minimum of 20 games per team, or the most 34 games per team. Last year, it was 443. This year, even better, 457. Better meaning more games is better. Means it's more competitive. Means series are lasting longer until the ultimate games. It was a 2% bump last year. This year, a 5% bump. And what I'm looking at this point is, again, 35 more games to this point than last year, which is great to see. The tournament's wrapping up in the middle of August. 3-week tournament where you have 7 games to distinguish first and second and eliminate fourth place teams. Then 5 games to determine top seeds and eliminate 8 more teams to get you to a Sweet 16. And then 3 games where 8 and 5 and 7, 6 meet to eliminate 4 to get to a 12-team playoff field. And that is where we are at, the 12-team playoff field. And let's look at the general standings of baseball at this point. We'll start in the American League. The Boston Red Sox had the best record in the American League, 22-9, winning the East. Basically, they beat the Orioles 4 out of 5 head-to-head, and that was pretty much the gap, really. Orioles won the World Series last year and are known to be in the World Series during this era. So it was a surprise for the Red Sox to do this, though we know the bats are always there. It's a question of pitching. 4-year Carryover League, though, means if a pitcher's good once every 4 years, well, you might have something. And the Red Sox think they do. The Tigers survived the American League North schedule. And this division played against the East, and they played against the Midwest, and they played against the National League North, which really only the Reds are really any good. But anyway, 2 under 500 wins the division. So we've seen this happen. The alignment format I use is based on the NFL. 32 teams across 8 divisions. Each division has a division winner, and sometimes a division winner in the NFL is a losing record. If you go back to last year, one of those division winners with a losing record ended up playing the eventual Super Bowl champion. So just something to throw out there that, the records get thrown in the trash once the playoffs begin. Detroit's got the 4th seed. The 3rd seed, the Royals, just got past the Twins, and they played much better. They wiped out the Yankees 3 straight, and the Twins struggled against the Red Sox, and they just could not get past the Oakland A's and finished the year 2018 and missed the playoffs. This is probably the best team in the American League not to get into the playoffs. The Yankees were a game over 500. 2 over 500 here, 1 over 500 there. The Angels are the shocking team in the American League. They're Cinderella. They were 7-21 last year, and they are the number 2 seed in the American League. It's been a stunning transformation. They've done it with pitching and a punch-and-Judy offense. They traded Messersmith away, but they ended up getting Bill Singer. More about him later. Nolan Ryan, Clyde Wright, and one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. So the Angels, they're set up very similarly to the New York Mets and LA Dodgers. All these teams have built around great pitching. We'll see. They're all in the playoffs. We'll see how it pans out. and it is the Oakland A's. The A's do get that sixth and final playoff seed. And in the history of the Carryover League, the A's have won some World Series. And I've been doing the Carryover League for the last 15 years. And they've won some World Series. And once this team gets into the playoffs, they're the quote-unquote team you don't want to play when it's wild card time. They have a knack for coming in as a wild card, going on the road, and winning. And now that their regular season records are wiped out, you kind of think the A's may have an advantage over the Angels. So, what is the schedule going to be in the wild card round? Well, in the wild card round, the number 6 Oakland A's will face the number 3 seeded Kansas City Royals. If the Royals win that series, they would play the number 2 seed California Angels. If Oakland upsets Kansas City, the number 6 Oakland A's would play the number 1 seed Boston Red Sox. And in the other series in the American League, number 5 Baltimore plays number 4 Detroit. Now a quick history lesson. 2 years ago in 2019, here's the 2019 postseason I'm looking at. In the wild card round, the Orioles played the Tigers at home in Detroit. Tigers won that 3-1, knocking the Orioles out. Tigers went on to face Kansas City in the divisional round, beat them. The Angels in the American League Championship Series, and the Tigers beat the Dodgers in the World Series. That was 2 years ago. Let's go to last year. Last year, the teams met in the tournament, the top seeds. And the Orioles beat the Tigers 3-1 in the tournament, giving them a bye and pushing Detroit in the wild card round. And Detroit played Kansas City in the wild card round last year, and this time the Royals got them, knocking the Tigers out. But then the Royals went up against the rested Orioles in the divisional round. Orioles beat them. The Orioles beat Oakland in the League Championship Series, and the Orioles swept the Reds in the World Series. So that's your little history lesson. And in 2021, here we are back in the 2021, and it's Orioles, Tigers again in Detroit. Everything you see over here is from last year and so forth. So this is what we're looking at. Orioles and Tigers. One of these teams could end up advancing to the World Series. I would bet on the road team. But the Tigers, boy, they've played 500 baseball to this point. They could conceivably win that series 3-2 and still be a game under 500 for all games played. Win the divisional round 4-3 and still be sitting at 500 going to the League Championship Series. So, pretty cool little history lesson there for the Orioles and the Tigers. Now let's go take a look at the National League, the senior circuit. When we go to the senior circuit, we're going to start in the top 2 divisions. And this is where your power lies now. The New York Mets. They missed out on the playoffs last year, but this is the 69, 70, 71, 72. So you have 8 69 players, and they're all helping the Mets, plus a young John Matlack. More about him later. They're helping the Mets get the number 2 seed. They took this number 2 seed away from the Dodgers. They also are 3-1 playing the Dodgers head-to-head this year. But it is the Cincinnati Reds. It's the story of baseball this year. They were the number 1 seed last year, and they are the number 1 seed this year. They lost the World Series 4 straight to the Orioles, and they have just been the team of redemption, trying to erase that bitter memory, and they are wiping out everything in their path. So, including the other teams in their division, including a Pirate team that was supposed to be contending for the World Series as well. They got dusted this year. Joining these 2 teams, and these teams will have byes, will be these 4 squads who are all active in the wild card round. The Dodgers lose that bye because they got wiped out by the Reds and the Mets passed them, so they have to play at home as a 3 seed against division rival Houston, which is something they don't like to do. They don't like to play those guys. And the Giants finished in a virtual tie with the Dodgers, but lost 2 different tiebreakers to the Dodgers. They don't seem to mind, as they'll have to go on the road against the team you want to play, the National League Mountain Division winner, which year in and year out is an expansion team. Last year was the Colorado Rockies, and they went from first to worst. Vegas was in last place last year. You get the idea. They went from worst to first. So when we look at the postseason schedule here in the National League, number 6 Houston faces number 3 LA, number 5 San Francisco against number 4 Las Vegas. Just for reference, these are the number of games over 500. We erased that, of course. It's best of 5 in the 2-2-1 format. And then if the number 6 Houston Astros beat the Dodgers, they would play the number 1 Cincinnati Reds. If the Dodgers hold on to beat Houston, they would visit the New York Mets for a second time. Mets beat them 3-1 the first time. And then Vegas and Giants in Vegas would play the other team, of course. One other thing of note, in the divisional round, the format for the divisional round, which I haven't, put up yet, we haven't gotten there yet, is 2-2-1-1-1, sort of the way the NBA does their 7-game series. I do that to give the seeded teams, the top seeds, the 1s and 2s, a little better chance than in the 2-3-2 format that gets used in the League Championship Series and the World Series down here. So something to consider there. So that's your playoff matchups. The first matchup I'll play will be Orioles and Tigers. Then I'll move to Giants, Vegas, Astros, Dodgers, and wrap it up with the A's and Royals. And then we'll move into the divisional round. But next up, we have the awards ceremonies to do. And one of the first awards is the Commissioner Award for participation for a team that utilizes its roster most efficiently by maximizing innings pitched for all pitchers and at-bats for all hitters. And it's a factor of the fewest innings pitched multiplied by the fewest at-bats for each player. And that factor, whoever has that highest factor, is the team that wins the Commissioner Award. In the American League, the Tigers had 1,000, which is nice. California, 1,033. Seattle, 1,082. But in the National League, in the Mountain Division, you had a bunch of teams. Vegas, 1,045. Portland, 1,008. But right here, the Arizona Diamondbacks, 1,900 points, easily win the Commissioner Award for participation. Congratulations, Arizona Diamondbacks. What does that mean? It means that they get the 33rd overall pick in the draft next year. Belongs to them. It's like a compensation pick in the NFL. Those aren't normally awarded until the 3rd round in the NFL. But I'm awarding this comp pick at the end of the 1st round before the beginning of the 2nd round. In Arizona, at 1,900 points, when I look at the fewest amount of innings pitched, Phil Reagan threw 25 innings. And when I look at the fewest number of at-bats that I see here, I want to say it's 76 at-bats for Kurt Blefary, plus 25 times 76. Yeah, that's it. So what that meant was that no other team had a pitcher pitch as many innings as Phil Reagan, with the 8th most on his team. Or Blefary was last in at-bats with 76 on this team. And because they utilized all 20 roster spots most efficiently, they're the team that get an extra player in the draft. They don't get an extra player on the roster. Basically, they forfeit their 8th round pick and move that pick all the way up to the 1st pick in the 2nd round. So that should really help an expansion team like Arizona. Okay, and now it's time for the more traditional awards you're all familiar with. Before we do that, let's take one more look at the general stats of the hitting and the pitching of all teams. I'm going to start with batting average. The New York Yankees led the league in hitting at 289. They were hitting 300 before the All-Star break, and they really cooled off. They're the Reds doing Reds things. Just missed 200 RBI in 34 games. Give you an idea how much offense they have. And then, predictably, the bats start to drop off a bit. Interesting, the White Sox are last in the league in hitting at 234, 8 points behind the next team. But the White Sox, for some reason, had 55 home runs, kind of all spread it through their offense. There wasn't one guy who had a ton. It was a couple guys had 12, and really curious that you'd be last in hitting and first in homers. Colorado Rockies like to hit home runs. Where'd they finish? They had 48, hit 250. And now let's go look at some pitching. And in the pitching, oh my goodness, hold my beer, folks. Yes, the Boston Red Sox led the league in ERA with 2.34 ERA. That's almost 75 points better than the New York Mets at 309. Interesting though, look at the Mets whip, $1.13, putting guys on base, and nobody's even close to the Mets there. Something to think about there. So the Red Sox and Mets, top pitching. Orioles, expect them to be there. Brewers, that's a shocker. 3.14 ERA for a 500 squad that, basically was 1 year removed from being the Seattle Pilots. So that's somewhat surprising. The Reds, of course, they got the hitting, they got the pitching too. Giants, here's those Angels we talked about. Royals, these are all playoff teams. And then you have the Cardinals who missed out because not enough hitting. And let's just go to the bottom of the pitching for a moment. See who's you got the Marlins as an expansion team, Ohio's an expansion team, and really the Yankees. You see how the reason they faded was the pitching kind of fell apart for them in the second half of the season. All right, now finally the awards section. We have 4 awards to give: the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year, the Rookie of the Years, the Cy Young, and the MVP. We're going to start with the Relief Award. The Rolaids Relief Award in each league. And in the American League, your Rolaids Relief Man of the Year is Mo Drabowski. He had 12 saves in 13 innings and a 0.66 ERA. He led the league in saves. He's your American League Rolaids Relief Man of the Year. And in the National League, in what I call the embarrassment of riches department, Clay Carroll of the Cincinnati Reds, as if they need to have the best reliever too, had 8 saves and an ERA of nothing. His ERA was nil. Did not give up a run this year. That's pretty much going to help your team have the best record in baseball. Congratulations, Mo Drabowski and Clay Carroll, unlikely winners of the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year. Next up, let's go to Cy Young winners. And Cy Young in the National League, we'll do that one first. And your National League winner last year was a guy named Juan Marichal. And this year, your winner is, drumroll please, look at all the guys are passing. Carlton didn't get it. 72 Carlton had 124 innings. Bob Gibson at 104 innings was 2-8. Really bad years. Mr. Smith lost out. He was 8-4. Larry Dierker 8-3 with the Astros in a nice year. Dave Roberts had a nice rookie year for the Padres. LeMaster also was 7-0 for the Astros and missed out. LeMaster and Dierker were the top 2 dogs in the Stros. But there he is, ladies and gentlemen. For the second year in a row, Juan Marichal is your National League Cy Young Award winner. 108 innings, 9 wins and a 2.73 ERA. You might say that his stats, there are guys who are going to be better above him. But it's one of those stats where if you win the Cy Young Award, you've got to really overpower the reigning champ to take the award away from him. And nobody was able to wrestle the Cy Young away from Juan Marichal. Now, in the American League, there were some great performances. Blyleven was 8-3, 258. Wilbur Wood pitched 131 innings, but he was 9-5 at 314. Was very, very good, but not amazing. I guess it was amazing as it was for the White Sox. Nice years out of Don Wilson, Joe Coleman. But there he is. The biggest reason why the California Angels went from worst to first is that they traded for Bill Singer, a pitcher who 2 years ago for the Dodgers pitched Game 7 of the World Series against the Tigers. He would lose to Mickey Lolich, but still, he brings a playoff resume to a young Angel squad who also added Nolan Ryan and Clyde Wright. 8-1, .79 ERA. Congratulations to Juan Marichal and Bill Singer. Next up, Rookies of the Year. We're going to go back to the National League, and we are looking at the very top pitcher in the National League, though he only pitched 60 innings because he was the number 3 starter of his own team behind Seaver and Kuzman. Jon Matlack, his 72 card, won Major League Baseball's Rookie of the Year. In my carryover league, it does the same thing. He wins Rookie of the Year, 6-2 with a .50 ERA. Which is pretty cool because in the American League Rookie of the Year, it also matched up for 1972. There he is. Your 1972 Rookie of the Year is the same as the Carryover League MVP. He was an All-Star. Carlton Fisk, 284 with 8 homer and 25 RBI. He was an All-Star the first year his card was used in this league, and one of the reasons why the Red Sox had the best record in the American League. So congratulations, Jon Matlack and Carlton Fisk, as actual Major League Baseball Rookies of the Year. They were also Carryover League Rookies of the Year. So that's kind of nice to match that up perfectly. And last, but certainly not least, the most valuable players of each league. And we're going to start with a shocker in the American League. And we're going to go to the same position that Carlton Fisk plays, as a catcher. Interesting that catchers are brought up here. A great error for behind the plate. No, it's not Thurman Munson. And the guy is right here, Gene Tenace. Your American League most valuable player, hit .312 with 15 homer, 39 RBI, led the American League in these two categories. The runners-up included at the very top Rod Carew, and the difference in the voting was that it came down to Oakland and the Twins playing in that play-in series. Carew did great. Tenace did great. Oakland wins. Twins do not. So I didn't want to give MVP to a non-playoff team. Carew had .414, led the American League in hits as well. 60 points better than Alex Johnson. 26 RBI is actually pretty good with no homers. His only homer was in the All-Star game. He was the MVP of that. So I went back and forth between Carew and Tenace, and just because you're hitting .312, plus Gene Tenace walks a ton, 15 homer, 39 RBI. Nobody's even close to these numbers in the American League, and that's how Tenace wins the award. And then in the National League, the National League MVP, the top hitter in the National League was Bobby Tolan at .387 with 12 stolen bases. He doesn't win the award. Kenny Singleton, nice rookie year for the Mets, well, his 70 card. Sometimes a first time in the year doesn't necessarily be Rookie of the Year, but Singleton had a nice year with the Mets. But I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And if you've been watching a lot of baseball, this league this year, Brent LA had a nice year for Colorado for the second year in a row. Twins could have used him. He played for the Twins. 318, 13, 38. Those are some nice numbers. But we're going to move down into the average. This is sort of by average, so we're dipping down an average a little bit. Willie McCovey was a nice runner-up. He rallied the Giants, 295, 17 homer, and 36 RBI, second in the league in homers. But the winner is, again, for the second year in a row, Johnny Bench is the National League most valuable player. His average dipped in the postseason tournament, but the Reds won every series in the postseason, so I'm not going to penalize him for that. They just didn't need him. I mean, Clay Carroll has an ERA of 0, and Bobby Tolan leads the league at hitting. Sometimes you just don't need Johnny Bench to do it all the time. But he hit 289 with 15 homers. Here's the big number here, 48 RBIs. Nobody's close to that in the National League. You see McCovey at 36. Also, Dick Allen's down here with a nice year. There it is, 18 and 35. But 48 RBI for Johnny Bench in 34 games. That's still on pace for, 200 and some RBI. You get the idea. So Johnny Bench is the National League MVP. And that's the final award. And that'll wrap up the video of the carryover league. Played 592 games to this point. We'll have a best of 5 wild card series, best of 7 divisional, league championship, and World Series. The season will wrap up and be posted during Labor Day week or before the NFL season starts, which is Thursday of that week. Somewhere around then is when this season will be over. And I take a little break and enjoy football and then do a fall league. So, thanks for checking out the league this year. We'll see you for the playoffs.